Hello and welcome back to our video series on SMF. Now in this video we're going to be talking about and covering the ban list. Now you may be thinking that, wait a minute, we skipped this registration one. But nah, there really isn't a whole lot to this, but we'll go ahead and check this out real quick while we're here. Basically this is something that the members do themselves, but in the event that the opportunity arises to where you need to register somebody for them, here's how you do it. Quite simply, you grab the username and their email address, the password. Then you can also elect to email them their password, and you can also require them to, click on an email address activation link, and then you just click on register, and that can be done for them. You want to assign them to a particular group, you can do so as well here. And one other thing too, whenever you register, and you really ought to go through your own form and register yourself at least once, maybe even a couple of different, what shall we call them, fake names, bogus names, just to see the process that your members are going through, and of course to make sure that everything's running smoothly for you. That way it will in turn run smoothly for them. But in the process of registering, you come across this rather wordy agreement that you have to click on I agree, I believe it is, to go further into the registration process. Well, here's a copy of that. And you can make any adjustments if you feel the need to, because I'm sure that everybody that comes to your site reads this. So in the event that you do have any changes you want to make, well, here's where you can do that. And then just click on this if you want them to have the agree to button or box to check prior to advancing into the registration process. Then of course any changes you make, click on save. Otherwise, as always, those changes will not take place. Now, set reserved names. This is something that might come in handy for you that really should be addressed. And this is where, in the event you want to reserve a name, for example, your name, you might want to put your name in here, just one reserved word per line. So, for example, if you do not want anybody to register as global moderator, you might want to put down global in here and moderator, your name, George Smith. Again, any other word or name that you might not want to be used for whatever reason, you would go ahead and put them in here. Then say, for example, if at some point in the future you wanted to use that name, you wanted to register as that name, then just prior to you registering that name, come on in here and take it out. Just delete it. And then of course you've got these other options down here. And of course click on save to make any of those changes take effect. And then settings, really you don't have a lot in here beyond the default that you should mess with, but they are here for you to mess with if you wanted to. Like for example, the caption image, you can really make this easy because right now it's set for medium. Check out the options you have here. You can make it almost to the point where people cannot understand it, at all, or very simple, which, to me, this would be just fine in my book because a robot can't come by and see that anyway because it's an image. But again, that's just totally up to you. And as far as the required strength for user passwords, also you have the option to make this difficult or stronger or weaker, I guess would be better. And like anything else, oh yeah, down here, as far as the type of form that you have set up, if it's something that might be age specific, in other words, something that might be more towards the child or child age group, then you may want to adjust this. In which case, say for example, yours is more towards the 13, preteen, or adolescent age group, then if you put this in here and require parent or guardian approval, click on that, and then you've got some additional forms you might want to keep record of. So here, as it says, you want to put in your address for the parent or guardian to send you the approval form, fax number where they can fax it to, or a simple phone number where they can contact you. And if this is a phone number that you're having them contact you at, get the tape recorder hooked up to the phone and have it recorded just to cover your assets, so to speak. Again, that's just if you are having a form that is set to allow or to be permissible or set up for the young adult or child. And again, that's totally up to you. Something I would kind of stray away from this day and age, but that's just my own personal preferences. But it is here for you to take advantage of if you so desire. And that's pretty much it as far as the registrations. Now, as far as the band list, this is something hopefully you'll never have to use, but it is here just in case. You've got a few options you can work with here. The band list, as it states, so far, as default, there are none. You have to create them if you so desire. And you can add the new ban list right here. And you can do this one of a couple of ways. If you've got an idea already as to what you just absolutely will not tolerate, then you can come down here. Maybe, for example, you don't want your boss to come into your forum, or you don't want your ex's new spouse to come into your forum, whatever. And you have the IP address or the host name or any of this other information here that you want to attach a ban to. Then you can just tick the box, put the information in here, and then determine if you want it to be a full ban. In other words, they ain't getting in, or a partial ban where you can have them just not post. They can see, but they can't touch, or they just can't register, but they can see, or however you want to do it. And if you have an IP address and a username and an email address, then I would go ahead and set up 3 separate ban triggers. In other words, set up one for the IP address and adjust the restrictions. And up here, you would have a reason that would go to the banned member as to why they are a no-no, and then a note here for anybody else in your staff that kind of give them an idea as to what's going on, and give it a name. Then once you click on add, it will then show up under the ban list, and then come on back to add new ban and do the same thing for the email address. Just do one at a time, and then that way you've got a more of a defined set of ban lists rather than one kind of all-inclusive that'll, it can cause problems that way. And of course, you've got some other options up here you can work with as well. And just click on add as needed, and then those will show up under the ban list as well as the browse ban triggers and ban log. Because until you have a ban created, you're not going to have anything to show under the ban triggers or under the ban logs as such. And you can also come in here and remove those triggers as well. And that's pretty much it. I mean, hopefully the ban list, again, is something you'll never have to come in contact with or deal with. But if somebody really, trips your trigger, if you pardon the pun, and irks you, and you want to kick them off the forum, then this is one way in which you can do it and prevent anyone from that IP address or that username or email address or website to come back to your forum and sign up again. That's how you can do this. And as far as the registration, we covered that. Be sure to go ahead and reserve your names. That's the only main thing under the registration that I should point out is the reserved names section. And aside from that, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of this video on registration and ban list. Thank you much for watching. Have a great day.